Alrighty, everyone, welcome to day 2 of the series previews, and now we have the Western Conference previews. Now, we're going to go straight down the list and start off with the Calgary Flames versus the Dallas Stars. The Flames are obviously first in the Pacific Division, having a dominant season compared to last year, and the Stars, well, they're the first wildcard spot. When you look at both teams' regular season statistics, the Stars are 46, 30, and 6. With 98 points, they have scored 238 goals and have only let in 246 and are fourth in the Central. The Calgary Flames, on the other hand, are 50, 21, and 11 for a total of 111 points. They have scored 293 goals and have only let in 208 to be first in the Pacific Division and second in the West overall. Compared to last season, where the Flames really weren't that good, they had a lot of season struggles, especially in the goaltending. This year, they really turned that around with Jacob Markstrom and their high-flying offense. As for Dallas last season, I feel like it was really just the amount of teams that made the playoffs. If it was extended to 5 teams from each division that made the playoffs, or the basic regular NHL thing instead of the COVID year last year, I think that the Stars definitely would have made it. When you look at each team's top scoring leaders, start off with Joe Pavelski versus Johnny Gaudreau. Pavelski has 27 goals, 54 assists for 88 points. Gaudreau has 40 goals, 75 assists for 115 points. It has been absolutely unreal for Johnny Gaudreau, hands down. This is a career year for him. He's really broken out. So I'm really impressed with what he's done this year. So I'm definitely going to give him the edge over Pavelski. Although Pavelski is very old and he's still putting up really good numbers. When you look at Robertson versus Tkachuk, 41 goals, 38 assists for 79 points for Robertson. He's had a very underrated season. And then when you look at Tkachuk, 42 goals, 62 assists for 104 points. He's been impressive with Calgary. I'm going to give the edge to Calgary again there. When you look at Rupe Hintz versus Elias Lindholm, 37 goals, 35 assists for 72 points in favor of Hintz. And then you look at Lindholm, 42 goals, 40 assists, 82 points. I'll give the edge to Lindholm there. Seguin versus Mangiapane, 24, 25, 49 for Seguin. He's had an alright year after his big injury year last year, so I'm not going to pressure him too hard on his season because of that, but those stats, not as good as they should be. Mangiapane, on the other hand, 35 goals, 20 assists, 55 points. He was hot at the beginning of the season. He kind of cooled down a little bit, but still stayed pretty consistent. So I'm going to give the edge to Mangiapane. And then Anderson versus Klingberg, 6 goals, 41 assists, 47 points for Klingberg. And then Anderson, 4 goals, 46 assists for 50 points. I'm going to give the edge over to Klingberg there. I think when you look at the overall offense, the Flames have the bigger firepower guys in Gaudreau, Tkachuk, Lindholm. But the Stars, they have experience. Like Pavelski, he's played in the league for a long time. He has experience. Seguin as well. Robertson's a little bit younger. He hasn't seen playoffs yet, but he's still pretty underrated. And when you look at Rupe Hintz, he has experience too. This was the team that made a Cup Finals in 2020. And fun fact, they beat Calgary on the way to doing that. I think depth-wise, it probably goes to Calgary too, although I would say that both teams kind of have weak depth charts, or weaker depth charts. They don't have weak depth charts. But compared to other teams in the league, they don't have the best depth chart in the NHL. Now, as for goaltending on Calgary's side, you have Jacob Markstrom, 37, 15, and 9, with a 2.22 goals against average and a .922 save percentage. He's been absolutely unreal this year. He has 10 shutouts, 9 shutouts, in NHL leading. Have not seen that number in a while. Then you look at Daniel Vladar, their backup, 13, 6, and 2, a 2.75 goals against average, and a .906 save percentage. He hasn't been bad either. He's played good, so I think if Markstrom gets injured, they have kind of a semi-trustworthy goalie there, but to be honest, I don't know. When you look at the Stars goaltending, you have Jake Ottinger, 30, 15, and 1, with a 2.53 goals against average and a .914 save percentage. He is very underrated, and he's kind of semi part of the reason why Dallas is in the playoffs right now, if we're being honest. But you look at Braden Holtby there, he's 10, 10, and 1 with his debut with the Stars. 2.78 goals against average and a .913 save percentage. I would imagine what they roll with is probably Ottinger and Wedgwood. That's probably why they acquired Wedgwood from the Coyotes at the deadline. But I feel Holtby's played more games, so I had to add him in there statistically. And now it's time for the final verdict. Who wins this series? Look, I want to say Calgary, but then again, you look at their experience, they really don't have a lot of experience. You have a couple guys in there who have played some time with other teams, but when you look at Calgary, they made it in 2019. They lost to Colorado in the first round.
2020, they won a playoff round, or a play-in round, sorry, but they didn't win against Dallas. They blew a 2-0 lead, in fact. And then 2021, they didn't make it. So I'm kind of wondering, could this be the year that Calgary makes it past the first round? It could be, but I don't know. I look at Dallas. I think Dallas, if they made the playoffs last year, they probably would have went deep. But like, the issue is that, I think it's really going to come down to goaltending, if we're being honest, like, for both teams. I think Markstrom definitely is going to hold it down for Calgary, but Dallas, I don't know. They've had their goaltending issues this season. Like, it was like a goaltender pentagon. Like, you had Kudobin, you had Bishop before he retired, you had Ottinger, you had Wedgwood, and there was somebody else that I'm not mentioning right now. Cannot think of who. But yeah, anyways. So I feel like it's probably going to go to Calgary, most likely. But then again, you can't count Dallas out. Dallas has a lot of experience. They got older guys in their team, but they can still definitely score and really put up the points. And obviously, as I say, they have experience. Anyways, guys, that'll do it. Thank you all very much for watching Friday Sports Late. I really appreciate it. This is our first preview of the day. We have 3 others coming for the YouTube channel, 2 others for the TikTok. So, yeah, thank you all for watching Friday Sports Late. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.